It looks like blood, but it's actually a chemical peel. This spooky looking formula is inspired by The Ordinary's famous 30% AHA plus 2% BHA peeling solution. And I'm gonna show you guys how to make your own. Even Luna is literally freaking out about how realistic this looks. Luna, come back! It's not real blood, I promise! Quick disclaimer, if you've never formulated with AHAs or BHAs, these are actually really advanced ingredients. I have a Formulating for Beginners series that is great for beginners. I suggest checking that out if you are a beginner, but if you do have experience formulating, I do have a few simpler formulas, including AHAs and BHAs. I'll link those down below. I made mine more gentle. I did 10% AHA instead of 30%, but that's because I have really sensitive skin, and literally even they recommend only specific people using their product. Not everyone can handle this much acid. The first phase is propanediol. You can use propylene glycol instead if you want. Then we need some kind of solubilizer. I'm using this EcoCert 1 Polysugamols D9. You could use polysorbate 20 or another solubilizer of choice, and salicylic acid, which is our BHA. Phase B includes our AHAs, glycolic and lactic acid, distilled water, and our sodium hydroxide, which is going to be used to raise the pH. Remember when I said this is an advanced formula? This is because it's really important to raise the pH of your formulations when formulating with AHAs and BHAs, because they have an extremely low pH, which can really damage and harm our skin. So we want to make sure we are raising the pH to a skin safe pH. Now moving on to phase C, we have our preservative, chelating agents. Then last for phase D is glycerin and xanthan gum. And our spooky colorants, we'll talk about those later. You'll start by combining the propanediol, polysugamols D9, and salicylic acid. And you want to mix everything together. Salicylic acid is extremely difficult to keep dissolved. That's another reason why this formulation is really advanced. One of the tricks I have found is heating it up and also combining it with propanediol and some kind of solubilizer. So you want to put it in a water bath and heat until the salicylic acid has fully dissolved. Now moving on to phase B, this is where we will combine our distilled water with our AHAs. Make sure you pour the acids into the water, not the other way around, and then add in the pH adjuster. I'm using a 50% solution of sodium hydroxide from Formulator Sample Shop, or you can make your own sodium hydroxide solution. I have an entire video all about that and how to adjust and raise pH and everything. So if you need all that information, I got you covered. For my favorite part, I'm using this hematite gemstone extract. Actually, it was one of you guys who told me about this extract. I purchased it over on Mixi. So if you guys want to try it out yourself, they have a whole bunch of different gemstone extracts, and I actually have some of them. So if you want to see more of them, let me know. Link below if you guys want to purchase. And this will add a gorgeous, like dark reddish brownish tint to it. Now, it didn't give it quite a red enough pop, so I went ahead and added in a red water soluble dye, and that combination is just beautifully eerie. It looks just like blood, and I'm really happy with it. You don't have to do this yourself, but it does look just like The Ordinary's. Now that your salicylic acid has fully dissolved, you can go ahead and add your phase A into your phase B. You don't have to wait for it to cool down or anything. Just pour it in there and mix to combine. Then once everything is around 100 degrees Fahrenheit or cooler, I didn't have to wait for mine to cool down. You can go ahead and add in your phase C ingredients. Make sure you got a preservative. Where there is water, there is a life. So make sure no microbes grow. Add that preservative in. Add in a chelating agent. Now lastly, for phase D, if you want to thicken this, which I did, I went ahead and combined glycerin and xanthan gum soft to create a slurry, and I poured that in while mixing, and I got a thick jelly-like texture, and I just wanted this texture so it stayed on my face well. It was easy to work with. If you don't want it as thick as mine, just use less xanthan gum. Lastly, you want to make sure you check and adjust your pH. Make sure the pH is between 3.5 to 4.5. I honestly cannot stress to you guys how important this is. Make sure you follow proper safety precautions while formulating, and make sure before you use this product on your skin, do a test patch, not on your face. That way you can see if you can tolerate it. Also, make sure you only use this in the PM. Apply a thin layer to clean dry skin. Wait about 5 to 10 minutes then rinse it off, apply a moisturizer, and make sure you wear SPF for at least 2 weeks after to make sure you don't get sunburnt, because this stuff makes your face more sensitive to the sun. If you aren't experienced with alpha hydroxy acids or beta hydroxy acids, start with a lower percentage of alpha hydroxy acid. I would recommend maybe like 5% lactic acid, then work up to glycolic acid, then try salicylic acid. That was just what I did as someone with sensitive skin. If you want the exact formula I used, head on over to my Patreon. Over there, you get access to hundreds of exclusive formulas. And also, if you guys want other alpha hydroxy acid or salicylic acid formulas, I have some here on my YouTube channel for free. So you can go learn from those. And literally, if you learn from those, you could figure out how to make this formula over on Patreon. Hope to see you there. So if you guys love this Halloween lab formula, I have more coming next week. Also, if you missed last week's, I made a gorgeous lip and cheek stain that Luna has just been flaunting her beautiful self wearing. I'm just kidding, she's not wearing it, but I have been wearing it and she loves it on me. It literally works so freaking well. I'm obsessed with it. And I'm excited for next week's formula. Luna says, happy Halloween, witches. Also, don't forget to go over and check out my Patreon, where I post 2 exclusive videos every single month. So there is a ton of videos you can go over and binge watch for only $5 a month. Also, if you don't have access to Patreon in your country, you can sign up as a YouTube member instead. If you sign up for the $10 tier on my Patreon, you get a shout out for your small business. I'll have all these brands linked below. naturesmagicllc.com. From Dusk Soapery on Etsy, LloydCandleCompany.com, HB Royal Retreat Store on Etsy, naturesfarmgirl.com, Let's Blend LLC, at Stardust Bath and Body, HempyGirl.com, ShopLevi's.com, Owl and Lily over on Etsy, Skin Lounge Co. over on Etsy, BlackPetalBeauty.com, EmbraceBeautyEssentials.com, LegendaryBathandBody.com, AstariApothecary.com, Reviga Cosmetics here on YouTube, XoreBB.com, PardoNaturals.com, NaturalStateSkin.com, TheNatureInUs.ca, NearCatalier.com. Use the code on the screen for 20% off. EarthAndAmberNaturals.com, SharkCityNaturals.com, DayToRelaxProducts.com, CrownedGloryLLC.com, LH Scented Soaps and More.com, JanaeRose.com, Health Nut Beauty on Etsy, VelvetTemptations.com, JourneyRoseBeauty.com, CHRBrands.com, Homestead Life Goods on Etsy, CanellaBathandBody.com, MadhouseMamaSoaps.com, Expo.com, Mystical Morning on Etsy, 7th House and Oak on Etsy, and MyCrownandGlory.com. Thank you so much for your guys' support. Without you guys over on Patreon, I wouldn't be able to do what I do. So thank you so much.